In this tutorial, we will show how easy it is to generate pattern live loads using SAFE. SAFE offers two principal ways to create pattern live loads. Auto Pattern Live, whereby the panels to be loaded are determined by the program based on grid lines, and the live load is automatically applied in a multi-step process within a single load case. And Pattern Live, whereby the user defines the geometry of the loading, and then a separate load case is created for each live load pattern and combined using the range add feature. We will start by showing how pattern live loading can be done with a template. We will use a two-way slab template, but the same option exists in all the slab templates. Here we check the Create Auto Live Load Patterns. This tells the program to automatically create load patterns using the live load, which will be 80 pounds per square foot for this model. For this model, we will switch off the horizon option. Next, we will review the load patterns created by the program. Note that in addition to dead and live, the program has generated a load called pattern with a type of auto pattern live. This means that the program will automatically apply the live load in patterned arrangements. Next, we will review the load cases. The program has created a case for the pattern loads with a type of linear multi-step static. This means that the results from different loaded panels will be combined internally in the single load case. To see how the program uses these load cases in design, go to the Load Combinations command and add the default design combos. We see that the pattern load case is used just like a live load. In this case, 1.2 dead plus 1.2 pattern. Note that they are combined using linear addition. If we go to the Display Loads command, we can display the dead and live loads at this time because they are applied surface loads. However, we cannot view the live loading pattern yet, as the layout of these loads is done at analysis time and cannot be displayed until after the analysis is run. Changing the view to 3D, we can now run the analysis. We are going to zoom into a corner and go back to the Display Loads command. The pattern live loads have now been determined, indicated by the availability of the analysis model loads. Check the Show Loading Values, and the typical load is 0.72 kips, which spread over the 3 foot by 3 foot element works out to 80 pounds per square foot, which was our applied live load. If we zoom out, we can skip the loads and see how each panel, created by the intersection of the grid lines, is loaded with the live load. In this model, we have a total of 9 panels. Because our load pattern type was Auto Pattern Live, the live loads from each panel are applied using a multi-step process in a single load case. The results are combined such that the maximum negative or maximum positive response is never reduced. We call this type of combination a range add. Now we will use the Auto Pattern Live feature without starting from a template. We start with an existing 2-bay by 5-bay model. First, we will define a load pattern for our pattern live loading. For the type, make sure to select Auto Pattern Live. This again will cause the program to automatically apply the live load in various permutations based on the grid layout. Checking the load cases, note that the program has once again created a case based on our pattern live loading, where it will use a multi-step static process to apply the panel loads. Next, select the entire slab object and apply a surface load. We are going to apply a 100 pounds per square foot live load. This is the load that will be used by the pattern live load case. Switch to a 3D view and run the analysis and design. Go to the loads display and select the pattern live load. Again, the program has applied live load to individual panels based on the grid layout and calculated results based on the multi-step process. Results from each panel are combined in the single LPAT1 load case. So far, we have seen how the program can automatically determine live load patterns. Now we will show how the user may define live load patterns other than those generated automatically by the program. For this model, if we used the Auto Pattern Live option, the pattern would be based on these two panels, as defined by the grid layout. Now let's say that we want the pattern to be like this instead. We can do this as follows. For every loaded panel, we need to create a load pattern. 2 panels means 2 patterns, and this time the type will be pattern live and not auto pattern live. A check of the load cases shows that cases have been added for the live load patterns. Note that the type is now linear static and not multi-step. This is because there is a separate load case for each loaded panel. With the previous examples, all of the live load panels were part of a single load case. Now, when we go to the load combinations and add the default design combos, a combination for the live load pattern has been created. This combo contains all of the live load pattern cases and combines them using the range add command, similar to what was done within the load case in the previous examples. This live load pattern combination is then used in the other design combos, similar to the previous examples. Now we are ready to define the panels. We do this by drawing a slab object with a property of none. This will provide the area to which we can assign loads. Select the first area object and assign a surface load as part of LPAT1. We will use 100 pounds per square foot. Select the secondary object and assign a load of 100 pounds per square foot to the LPAT2 pattern. We can verify the loads by going to the display. These live load patterns can be displayed because they are not dependent upon the analysis. They have all been user-defined. Now we are ready to run this analysis and design. This time, when we step through, the analysis loads are displayed for each pattern live load case, rather than for the program-determined panels. In conclusion, the Auto Pattern Live option, whether done using a template or by the user, automatically steps through all the permutations of live loading based on grid line defined panels, whereas the Pattern Live option can be used to define patterns that differ from the grid layouts. This concludes this tutorial.